Hello folks, and welcome back to Roll for Sanity, where we become mythos investigators in the world of Call of Cthulhu role-playing. And welcome to all the new investigators joining us here since the last vid. This is a bit of a different video for us today because I had one hell of a game, and we got screwed over by the dice rolls. Not all were terrible, but my character died because of these dice rolls. Usually I'd say dice rolls shouldn't kill your character, it's the situation you put your character in that should kill your character, with dice rolls just giving you a bit of a push. So I wanted to do this video to see what we can learn and what we can do when facing that sea of red or bad rolls in your gameplay. First though, let's look at the dice rolls that come up in gameplay and what they all mean.
Critical success.
This is a crazy dice roll to get in a game and should be one of the highlights of the play session, maybe even a cool war story to tell later on. And you shouldn't hesitate to remind your keeper, well, I did get a critical success, to maximise the benefits from this dice roll. Always respect the keeper's wishes, as most times a skill roll will only have one result, like you find the hidden letter on the underside of the drawer. Sure, that could be the only clue in this roll, but maybe your keeper could let you carry that critical roll into the next place you're searching. Maybe it can even give a bonus die to others who are doing a similar search.
Extreme success.
If your dice roll is a fifth of your skill percentage, then that is an extreme success. So 10% or less if your skill is 50. This is why I like the automated virtual tabletop systems like Roll20, as their character sheets will work out if a dice roll is a hard success, extreme success, without having to do any calculations in my head. An extreme success is great on academic rolls, as this will help you get a lot of information. In combat, an extreme roll will give you maximum damage from your weapon, and if your weapon can impale like most bullets and blades do, then you can add another dice of damage to already that total of maximum damage. So an extreme hit from a fired .38 revolver would do the 10 damage plus another D10 damage on top. Pretty deadly.
Hard success.
With a hard success in a skill roll, you can expect a bit more from your roll. If available, you might find 2 articles in the newspaper archive with a hard library use roll, as opposed to just one with a normal library use roll. With a hard success on interpersonal skills, the NPC should give you some information as per normal, but also volunteer something you didn't ask. With physical skills, a hard success leaves no room for doubt. For example, a hard climb roll could mean you scale up an obstacle no problem, and your keeper may say you won't need to make a climb roll to get back down again.
Normal success.
This is when you roll equal to or under your skill percentage. Remember, if it meets it, it beats it. So a roll of 45 on a skill of 45 will be successful.
Failure.
This is where you roll over your skill percentage. Failed knowledge rolls mean you won't find any information, failed social rolls mean the NPC doesn't give you any information, and failed physical skills usually means you don't even attempt the physical feat because you're not even sure you can do it.
Pushed roll.
Great mechanic of Call of Cthulhu is pushing the roll. With your keeper's agreement, you can push a roll if there is a narrative reason of how you will push the roll. But beware, you can't spend luck on a push roll, and a failed pushed roll counts as a fumble. So you may fail a throw roll and narratively say to the keeper, well, I'm not sure the rope is long enough, so I'm going to wade into the river to make sure the rope gets across to the other side. This helps the keeper shape the story, as if you make the push roll, you are now wet, but the rope has been caught by the people on the other side. If you fail that pushed roll, your character may lose their footing and need to make a swim roll, or a kind keeper may fail forward and say the rope is caught on the other side, but a strength roll is needed by you to actually hang on to the rope whilst the others pull you in.
Fumble.
A fumbled roll is usually 100 on a D100 when you roll it. If your skill percentage is less than 50% though, a fumbled roll is 96 to 100 on that D100. This is why I wouldn't recommend attempting a skill roll when the percentage is just 1%. Sure, attempting a medicine roll of 1% may seem like a good idea, but there is more chance that you will fumble that roll than make it. So, what can you expect when you fumble a skill roll? Well, as much as critical rolls can be exceptionally positive, think the opposite of that. Fumbled skill rolls in games that I've played include where my character once failed a pushed library use roll and sent papers flying all over the records office into a disorganized mess and got thrown out of the library. Mike, if you're watching, will remember that one. Our rifle got fumbled into a freezing river in the middle of a polar bear attack. And a fumbled listen roll sent an eavesdropper stumbling through the door of a theatre box into a hapless patron, pushing them off the balcony. So fumbles can be quite deadly. Now we know then what dice rolls make up a Call of Cthulhu game, we can see how to deal with this extra player at the table. Looking at the game I've been mentioning and getting super nerdy, I can see we had 6 extreme successes, 12 hard successes, and 23 normal successes, giving us a total of 40 successful dice rolls. On the flip side, we had 48 failed rolls and 5 fumbles for 53 unsuccessful rolls. Running through some rough numbers, that means we had 25% more failed rolls than successes. And we felt it! So much so that we actually expected to fail our dice rolls in this game. Consequently, when my character joined another character to outnumber an opponent in combat, neither of us used a bonus dice when we failed our brawl rolls, even when I just asked the keeper, do we get a bonus die because we outnumber them? Whilst the other player was looking to spend some luck to pass the roll, I'd fumbled my combat roll for the second time in the evening. All of us, used to the failures throughout the evening, promptly forgot about that bonus dice, and as it was one of the last dice rolls of the game, my character, let's just say, didn't have a positive outcome, but it was a very suitable end, befitting of a Mythos Tale character. So what do we do when we see these sea of failed rolls? Well, check to see if you have failed. As I say, I was so caught up in the fumble, I didn't check for that bonus die. So ask yourself 3 questions. First one is, do I have a bonus die for this roll? If you do, use it. Next question to ask when faced with a failed roll is, can I spend luck? This is a great mechanic that is actually optional in Call of Cthulhu, but I've never been in a game where it isn't used. Your character will have an amount of luck to spend and can be used to turn a failure into success, or make a good roll even better. If your skills roll is a few points off being a higher value, then straight up ask the keeper if it is worth spending a few extra points to turn that normal success into a hard success. Some keepers will let you spend luck in combat to make a hard combat roll into an extreme roll if you need to deliver some extra damage. It's always worth asking. I have to admit I tend to save my luck points for the last part of an adventure and spend them all on a skill roll to save my character or do something epically heroic. I can't say that has worked though, as the dice rolls never seem to give me the result close enough to be able to spend all that luck I have. What I'm tempted to do now is spend luck on dice rolls that only my character can do. Most folks can fight, so eventually we will beat the creature in combat or run away. Most folks have a good spot hidden, library use and first aid, so one of them is bound to make that roll. And there's a similar story with social rolls. If my character has the mechanical repair skill and we need to fix the car, then I'll spend luck to fix it, even if it's the first roll of the game. I don't go overboard and spend all my luck in one go, but I will consider spending around 10% of my luck points, as you can't make every skill check in a game. The third question to ask is, should I push the roll? As mentioned earlier, there is a risk to pushing that roll, but when you're in a one-shot game that lasts just one session, then what have you got to lose, especially if your skill is above 50%. Now, I wouldn't advise pushing base skills unless it is an emergency. Pushing a stealth skill of 20% to sneak into a building might not be wise, but if you're about to get caught, then well, push that roll. You might be discovered anyway. It's wise to check with the keeper if you can push that roll, and it's just good gameplay. Remember, the keeper is the one that has to cope with your fumble if you fail the push roll. And as I said, making every skill roll can lead to quite a dull game. But those crappy dice rolls are a pain. Yes, they are, but remember, Call of Cthulhu isn't a game you set out to win. So positive and negative dice rolls are just there to shape the story. A string of fails adds to the narrative of a miserable, unfolding horror where your character is discovered by cultists. They don't believe what your character is saying, and your character's trusty 45 malfunctions. The game may end with your character being sacrificed to Cthulhu thanks to those damn dice rolls, but what a game it was, and you'll have a great story to tell others. If you do have stories of when the dice have screwed you over in a game of Call of Cthulhu, then feel free to put them in the comments below and give a thumbs up to your fellow investigators if they share a story. Thanks for watching, and we'll roll for sanity again soon.